So if you're watching this video, then maybe you're tired as being seen as just the person who posts stuff or moderates, or maybe customer support, and you want to be seen as the strategic leader in the company, so you are valued, you're seen for what you're worth and what you can actually do, and maybe to get that promotion. So I'm going to be going over the steps that I took from being completely overlooked to now valued and feeling like you have this, like you know exactly where you need to go and what you need to do in order to progress in your career. So in order to get there, what we're going to be going over is a shift in mindset, key actions to really make the difference quickly, and what respected leaders actually do differently. So the first step is to understand why you're being overlooked. The first way to do that is to really understand what a community leader is meant to be doing, because that is highly misunderstood. One company might treat the role to be like a customer support role, or maybe even a social media role. But most importantly, it fails to frame community as a strategic driver of business growth. So the key responsibility you will have as a community leader is to really drive business growth. Now that can be done in many different ways, but it's the thing that is overlooked and the thing that is stopping you from becoming valued and seen as a leader. And this can be done in many different specific ways, depending on what those business goals actually are. But what you will be doing is strategic planning, and that might be designing systems, journeys, programs based on what the member needs and the business goals are. And through that, the way you get that is through user research and business research. You will be also using metrics to report your wins so that you can gain influence. So those three things together will get you from being overlooked to being valued and an important integral part of that business. So now we've identified where we need to go, what we need to achieve. So step 2. We need to identify how we're going to bring value to the business. So obviously every business is different, but the main thing to consider is activity vs impact. So what I mean by activity is maybe you just do things for the sake of doing things. Like maybe you are just making posts. Maybe you're doing things that take a lot of time, a lot of effort, but not seeing the returns that you want to be seeing. And this is probably because we haven't identified what is impactful, what is valuable for the members and for the business. So we want to identify what is impactful for the members and what is impactful for the business. So first, let's look at members. How can we find what is impactful for members? So maybe the easiest way to do that would be to do some user research. And an easy way to do user research is through a short survey. So this survey needs to be short and it needs to be direct and it needs to not lead to what you think they want. It needs to draw out what the members actually want. And if you're interested in how to do that, I have the 30-day plan linked below in the description, and that details in one of the days the questions that you should be asking. So next is business. First, we need to identify who those key stakeholders actually are. And we want to figure out what they want. Now that might look different for a few different people. It might be the head of marketing, it might be just your boss, it might be the CEO. Now list all of those starting from bottom to top and write next to them what you think they want. And if you're not really sure, you can ask. Now, once we determined what they want, when we bring these two things together, we know how to make the biggest impact. Okay, so step 3. Now we want to start acting like a leader. So we understand what community leaders are really meant to be doing. We understand where the impact is being drawn from, what we're going to be aiming for. So let's look at like how we can do this. So I'm going to give you 5 actions to take this week. The first one is to set up a way to track. So you may remember I mentioned tracking metrics in order to communicate your value. So if we don't set up a way to track these things, how are we going to communicate that later? And that is best in like whole numbers or percentages. So just figure out a way to track the things that you want to be tracking. Number 2 is run a quick survey. So we mentioned the best way to find what users and members want is be running a survey. And then we're going to choose one high impact and low effort thing that we identify from that user research to implement straight away. Then we're going to track those results. And then we're going to communicate these internally. So that could be in your next meeting with your boss. It could be just even posting that in the group chat for everyone to see. But if we follow these 5 steps, we are able to track what we do well and communicate what we are doing well. And you can even repeat steps 3 to 4 to implement more things and to really build that value. So now step 4. We don't want to just stop at internal communication. We want to be seen externally as a strong strategic community lead. So those wins that you have been able to achieve, you want to be able to post those on LinkedIn, on whatever platform you want to. And maybe even create a little case study. Show them the impact that you want to make. Tell them what you determined based on the user research and really show them how you did that and what you actually achieved. Now, all of these things can be broken down in a lot more detail, and that's why I have created that 30-day plan that you can find in the description. So if you wanted a step-by-step on how to go somewhere this month, then please access that below, completely free. So as a conclusion, it's not about doing more. It's about doing the right things. If you are able to achieve this, then you will achieve real value, real impact, and you will not only be valued and seen from the members, you will also be seen as an integral part of the business. And if you are able to do this, you will be able to demand more and really grow your career. So I hope now you have a deeper understanding of how to go from being overlooked and now how to get to where you want to be very, very quickly. Again, we have that free guide in the description if you want to get somewhere from now until the end of the month. And I also have a Discord community which I have opened up to answer any of your questions, and that's in the description below. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful and where you are in your journey right now. Like, where are you now and where do you want to go?